You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Hey there. Welcome to episode 252 of the Rusted Robot Podcast for July 21st, 2019.
My name is Optimus Prime.
Hello, I am C-3PO Human Cyborg Relations.
I am Locutus, a Borg.
You're like a machine underneath, right? But sort of alive outside?
I'm a cybernetic organism, living tissue over a metal endoskeleton.
I'm an android.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
Counterfeit, facsimile, replica.
We need some sort of robot. Ah, crap! I'm some sort of robot.
Hey guys, it's Sean.
And Kitty.
And Josh. And the kitty cat who is purring quite loudly.
Yeah. Oh, he's falling off.
Okay.
Oh dear.
So here we are, July 20th, recording an episode of the podcast. It's a great, historic, momentous event. You know what also happened on July 20th that was a great, historical, momentous event?
No.
The astronauts landed on the moon for the very first time.
Oh.
50 years ago today.
50 years ago today. Woody and Buzz to infinity and beyond.
No.
No. Who?
Yeah, no.
Not Woody and Buzz?
No.
That was something else.
No. Yeah.
Neil Armstrong!
Oh, and Buzz Aldrin. That's right.
Yeah.
One giant step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. And
One
that's,
small step for a man.
yeah, that one. Yes. One. What did I say? Something wrong, right?
One giant step for a man.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me.
And an even bigger step for man.
Somebody had some big shoes to fill anyway, is what we found out. And the debate rages. Did he say one giant leap for man or for a man? And that's the big thing. Because he said for a man, but everybody hears for man. So
He knows what he said.
he knows
He was
what
there.
He was there.
Yeah.
And I read an article the other day all about it, saying how for and for can sound the same, depending on your dialect and inflection.
And radio static.
Radio static
It is
from
being
50 years
transmitted
ago.
from the moon.
In like the 50s.
60s. 1969.
60s. That's right.
Yeah.
Long times ago.
In a galaxy far, far away?
Sure.
No, it was right here.
Yeah, but
You don't know what galaxy I'm in. They don't know what galaxy we're in.
Okay. So yeah, it's a great historical event, and it's super awesome, and we have to mark that fact with this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's important.
it is. It's very important.
Yes.
And if you are a non-believer, if you do not believe in the moon landing,
The great conspiracy theorist. Stanley Kubrick filmed the thing in a soundstage.
so my opinion is if you I don't believe in the moon landing, well then you don't believe in anything else you can observe directly.
I don't even believe in the moon. That's just a picture in the sky.
It's an egg.
It's the man in the moon. It's made of cheese.
That's a Doctor Who reference.
Ah, yes.
It hatched into a big weird moon dragon.
Moon dragons.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, I like it.
I sort of liked it too, but I definitely believe in the moon, and I definitely believe that the astronauts landed there.
You believe the astronauts landed there?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
There's proof. Like, you can fire a laser up there and prove it.
Yeah, plus people are going to be going up there. They could point out a bunch of things. They could be like, hey, remember how they said they left this on the moon? It's still here because nobody else has really been to the moon since then.
In my time, there's 50 million people living on it.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Did you catch that reference?
Gosh, that's Riker.
That is Riker. Star Trek First Contact.
But they are planning on really building a moon colony.
Well, of course.
Are you planning on being one of the moon colonists?
I probably wouldn't get chosen, but I would definitely go.
Would you?
I would.
If you had specific skills that could be used there?
They might need a podcaster.
Couldn't they just...
Somebody's got to deliver the mail.
Ah!
Yeah, might as well be me.
Well, that would be a very treacherous job.
Yeah. But then he gets to drive around on this moon buggy going from place to place.
That would be really cool.
I always wanted a moon buggy.
Doesn't everybody want a moon buggy?
You get the left-hand drive one because you have to be close to the house.
Well, that's right. Oh, wouldn't that be amazing?
Are they still going to have the same road rules?
Sure, why not?
Mm.
I don't know.
That's far, far in the future, my friend.
No, that's next week. We're going.
Are we going?
I already bought our tickets.
You bought your tickets?
Yeah, we're going.
Oh.
I don't want to go to the moon.
We're colonists. We're moving.
One of these days, Alice. One of these days.
Yeah, I know, Ralph. Right to the moon.
We're going to be loonies.
Oh, that does sound like
Or
fun.
would you be lunatics?
No, loonies.
Loonies, yeah. Oh.
What will our money be?
The loony.
Would we, instead of dollars, would we only refer to them as loonies?
Or just loons.
Captain, when I joined the Marquis, I left some personal items behind on the station.
As far as I know, all your things were put in storage.
You didn't happen to see an old Earth coin about this big? With a bird on the front?
A bird?
A loon, actually. My lucky loony. It's an old Canadian coin. Been in the family for over 200 years.
Loons.
Mm.
Ah, one loon.
I think we should call them quatloos.
Quatloos.
I bid 2,000 quatloos on the newcomer.
I think we'd still be using the currency of the country of origin.
Yeah, more than likely.
Because it's not going to be an independent colony.
Oh, maybe eventually.
Eventually, yes, but initially...
Hundreds of years in the future.
Yeah, but not initially.
No, not
They're not even going to need money to begin with.
Surely are.
Well, not like to trade with.
Well, no, because we work to better humanity.
They're all going to have to work that way, because, like, if you don't, they'll die. Like,
yes,
nobody's going to barter with somebody for, like, oxygen, because if they die, somebody very important is dying.
No,
because
but
everybody up there is important.
Luxuries always have cost, and usually they create some kind of currency to deal in luxury. For example, prisons use cigarettes as
Yeah,
as
okay,
a currency.
but that's like a bartering system.
Yeah, that's all currency ends up being. And if you would use your own home currency as a luxury, if you...
I think we all know that the moon is going to be colonized by miners, because in the Star Trek future, all the planets have miners everywhere. And the moon is filled with helium-3 and water ice, so it'll be the miners first.
Miners, not miners.
So is it because we are a mining town that will qualify to get in?
So the lunar mining for mining purposes will actually be just collecting dirt off the surface.
That sounds awesome.
The regolith.
Because that's where the helium-3 is located. So once we get cheap fusion going, that's going to be an incredibly valuable commodity.
Yeah.
But
Humans love helium.
the deep mining will be done for construction purposes.
To build the colony inside the surface of the moon, because it's safer from radiation that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And asteroids.
Yes, you got to watch out for those asteroids.
And you can build really big, giant domes on the inside.
Ooh, wouldn't that be cool?
Oh, that sounds
And
like
then you
fun.
can grab a wingsuit and just fly around.
You know how much
I
I
mean-
love domes.
Yeah.
How much do you love domes?
I love domes so much that I have been wanting to live in a dome for a very long time.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
Move to the moon, you'll get a dome.
Oh, I don't want to live in the moon.
Move to the moon for retirement. We have domes here.
We have domes.
Okay,
Oh,
no cats on the table.
That little kitty there, he's pretty rambunctious, isn't he?
Yes.
Yes, he is. Hey, have you ever seen the movie Moon with Sam Rockwell from 2009?
I have never.
Is that the one where he's a clone?
Well, you just gave it away.
Yeah, it's from 2009. You already said the date. That's well beyond the 6 months time frame.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it's got Sam Rockwell. I think his character is actually named Sam as well. Sam Bell.
We watched that one.
It's got him and the voice of Kevin Spacey as Gertie.
We watched it on Netflix.
Good movie.
I don't remember.
It was directed by Duncan Jones.
Oh, and he goes all the way out there, and there's a crash, and then he goes all the way out there, and finds a dude.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude is he himself.
Ah, that's the...
Yes.
Now you spoiled it.
I did, but Josh already spoiled it, so it's fine.
You guys are
All I said
worse.
was clone. You gave away the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's all good. Good movie, though. I highly recommend it, even if we just spoiled it. But Moon from 2009. Moon.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
It is a really good one.
They're doing The First Man, is it called?
The movie, First Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that advertised on Facebook. What is the kitty cat into now?
I don't know.
Just everything. He just wants to be a radio star.
Yep.
Yeah. What's his name again? Caramel?
Caramel. Yeah.
Yes.
Sir Lord Caramel Butterscotch. First of his name.
Correct. Yes. That's right.
He is both a sir and a lord.
Nice.
Yes.
He's got it all. All right, so what else should we talk about? We've established that we're very happy that it's the 50th anniversary of the moon landings. We can't wait to go back, obviously. There's a good movie by the name Moon. The first movie ever filmed was, Men in the Moon from 1903 or something?
Actually, I believe we have some moon-related correspondence.
You know what? We do. And now would probably be a good time to play it. So here is this month's UK Correspondent piece from Furbob, Paul Wright.
Hello, Furbob here, and welcome to the July edition of the UK Correspondent. Earlier this month, it was my father's 80th birthday, and as it just so happened, there was a total solar eclipse on that very day. So my father decided he wanted to go and see it. Why not? Solar eclipses only happen once every year or so. It just so happened to be on the very day of his 80th birthday. It seemed like an ideal opportunity. Unfortunately, it was in the middle of Argentina. So off we went. A 1-hour trip down to Heathrow, a flight delayed by 24 hours, a 13-hour flight to Buenos Aires, a 2-day layover there, a 2-hour flight over to Mendoza, close to the border of Chile, at the base of the Andes, and then a 6-hour coach drive north to a little village called Bella Vista, where a local ranchman had put on a bit of a do. In other words, he'd opened up his field, put some nice VIP tents out for some people, and a buffet tent for the rest of us mortals, with a nice little toilet block, and there we stood, waiting for approximately 7 hours for the moon and the sun to collide. This did happen, and first contact was made at about 4:30 in the evening. By 5:30, we had the full eclipse. It was an amazing sight, and was greeted with rapturous applause, cheering, whooping, dancing, people dancing with music being played on woodwind instruments, and a couple of minutes of pretty awesome silence. Halfway through this, a gentleman not so far away from me said this.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. You still love us.
Which I thought was a bit odd, because eclipses have been around since long before Jesus' time. However, after seeing this amazing spectacle and making the awful journey of 6 hours back in the coach, 6 hours sleep, 2 hours flight to Buenos Aires, straight on the flight 13 hours to the UK, another hour flight back home again, and fortunately not suffering any jet lag, it got me thinking as to why did the gentleman think that this wasn't a natural phenomena, and what other conspiracy theories about the moon can we think about at the moment, especially since it's, 50 years since the moon landings? So I dug around and I found this article. The following is taken from an article by Andrew Griffin of the Independent newspaper. It is 50 years since humanity landed on the moon, or according to some people, it is 50 years since the US government pulled off the most spectacular hoax in history. On the 20th of July 1969, Neil Armstrong planted his foot on the lunar surface. It was the culmination of an immense effort by the scientists and engineers who built the ship that carried him and his fellow astronauts up to the moon and drew on vast reserves of knowledge and ingenuity, transfixing the world as it did. But some say that achievement was far too incredible. They refuse to believe that the astronauts ever made it to the moon, and say instead that it was a con, a vast trick played on people. The conspiracy theory is relatively simple, even if it would have taken a huge amount of work to pull off. It says that Apollo 11 astronauts never really went to the moon. Sure, they blasted off into orbit and waited up there while the world watched scenes that were actually filmed in a studio, before coming back down to be falsely hailed as heroes. It has been disproven time and time again by documentary evidence and scientific fact. Photos and samples are testament to the fact that humanity really has been to the moon. But the way the belief clings on shows the profound and powerful way that the public lost belief in their leaders, and why people refuse to believe the establishment despite the reams of evidence to the contrary. Conspiracy theorists often point out that the timing of the landing was very convenient. The US was desperate to be seen to be arriving on the moon, they claim, and so ensured that would happen, even if they weren't really getting there. In 1962, John F. Kennedy said,
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
What's more, the Soviet space program looked to be getting close to a successful moon mission. Such landing would have been devastating for the US, which had staked its reputation on getting there first, amid the Cold War and heightened tensions. But the conspiracy theory didn't start at this time. The moon landing conspiracy really took hold in the 1970s, after the mission was over and the Apollo program had come to an end. Instead, the rise have been attributed not to anything to do with the moon landings themselves, but to a breakdown in the trust between the US government and their citizens. Throughout the 1970s, a series of revelations shook trust in the American establishment. In 1971, the Pentagon Papers showed that the government had repeatedly lied about the Vietnam War. In 1976, a House committee concluded that there had been a high chance that there had been a conspiracy to kill John F. Kennedy. That same conspiracy thinking took hold across society. People started to question events such as the Kennedy assassination in 1963, and that same conspiracy thinking is applied to more recent events, from 9/11 to those who claim that mass shootings in the US either didn't happen or were planned by the US state. In that context, the conspiracy theory has never died. Some 10% of Americans have been found to disbelieve the official explanation, and in Russia some 57% of people said they don't think the US ever went to the moon. But so much for the past. What are the future plans for exploration of the moon? Speaking to Lorraine Kelly this week, British astronaut Tim Peake revealed the plans for him and the moon for the next few years.
Myself and my classmates at the European Space Agency, we all hope to have a second mission by 2024. And we're looking forward not just to International Space Station missions, but now, of course, we're looking at going to the moon as part of a new international partnership. We're at the European Space Agency, we build the service module for NASA's Orion spacecraft. Right. And so this is the spacecraft that's going to take us back to the moon. And we're building a gateway in lunar orbit, and that will facilitate the lunar landing missions, and also in the future it will facilitate missions to Mars.
And do you think there would be a base there? Or is that just sci-fi? Do you think
No,
that
absolutely.
will happen?
That is the plan, is to have a sustainable lunar exploration program. Okay. So I think the South Pole is looking like a very good candidate to have a permanent habitation there, right, because there's water ice, and from water ice, of course, we can make rocket fuel, hydrogen and oxygen, and we can also have water for life support systems. Wow. But I think the great thing about the Gateway, this sort of space station around the moon, is it can enable landings at any part of the lunar surface. Right. Not just the equator, for example, during the Apollo era, but it can go to the poles, it could go to the equator, it can go to the far side of the moon. Right. So it allows us to do lunar exploration everywhere.
So NASA is going back to the moon. And how is it going to do that? As they announce on their website, NASA is going to the moon with commercial and international partners to explore faster and explore more together. This work will bring new knowledge and opportunities and inspire the next generation. In going to the moon, NASA is laying the foundation that will eventually enable human exploration of Mars. The moon will provide a proving ground to test technologies and resources that will take humans to Mars and beyond, including building a sustainable, reusable architecture. The Apollo lunar flights ended in 1972, but the moon remains of great interest to NASA and the world. When we return to the moon, we will be building upon the work of hundreds of thousands of people who have worked on Apollo and have since advanced human spaceflight. As Isaac Newton wrote in the 17th century, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." I, for one, will be looking forward to watching the progress of NASA and its commercial partners, maybe even SpaceX. This is a very exciting period in spaceflight, to actually go back to the moon, but to stay there, to launch further explorations to Mars and maybe beyond. It's great to see this happening. It's almost like going back to the 1960s and 1970s again, watching real heroes taking steps on other planets and other worlds. Thank you very much for listening to me. I will now return you back to your regular scheduled programming.
awesome production values, great story. Paul and I just celebrated our 5-year friend anniversary on Facebook this past week.
Oh, the friend-iversary.
Yes, the friend anniversary. Happy birthday to Paul's dad.
Happy birthday, Paul's dad.
Wow, quite a trip to go see
You
a
know,
lunar
if you
eclipse.
came that far, you could have just taken a flight up to Canada, come seen us,
right,
and then headed across. It wouldn't have added much more time to your flight.
Not by the sounds of it.
No, it'd been pretty easy.
Yeah.
Just halfway around the world again and then back to England.
Why not?
Yeah, you missed an opportunity. You could have been here in person recording live.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
My plan is actually to get over there one day and meet him for real. For realsies.
For realsies.
Yes.
Just so he's not one of your internet friends?
Right. Because I believe he exists. Like, we've talked on Skype and on video Skype. So I've seen him animated and moving around and stuff. And
that could have been CG.
I've seen him animated.
It could.
It could have been just 6 corgis in a trench coat. Was he wearing a trench coat?
Not that I recall.
Ah.
Because as longtime listeners will remember, Paul and I did 40 episodes of the Sci-Fi Waffle podcast back in 2016-17, I think. I don't remember. Good times. Great spot from Paul here. Going back to the moon with Tim Peake in 2024. How awesome is that?
What's the weirdest conspiracy you've heard?
The Earth is flat.
That one's not that's wrong, but it's not the weirdest conspiracy.
No?
It's still pretty weird.
I can understand some of the logic behind it. Because from just a simple Mark I eyeball, it looks flat.
How about what Paul had mentioned about 9/11 as an inside job?
That one is not that out there. The false flag operation of a government, they've tried to do stuff like that, but they generally can't keep it secret. Because the more people that know a secret, the harder it is to keep.
A secret can only be kept by 2 people, and only if one of them is dead.
That's the only way to keep it.
Yeah, that's it.
No witnesses.
What's your most out there conspiracy theory besides the movie with Mel Gibson and
that's a good movie.
Aaron
I like that
Brockovich?
movie.
What's her name? Julia Roberts.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I enjoy that one.
It's got Patrick Stewart in it.
I would say the Lizard Men.
Oh yeah, that one's pretty weird.
How they control the world?
How they every person in political power is actually a lizard man.
Well, they're pretty slimy. I can see that. Although
Lizards aren't slimy.
I know, but that's
come on, man.
That's
They're
the thing.
dragons.
So I know
You're
it's-
thinking of amphibians.
Yes, I know.
They're the
Those the frogmen.
Frog-
Those are
right.
they're not in charge.
The frogmen are just the underlings.
Yes.
Yes.
Obviously.
Right. Because they're slimy.
Yeah, I would say the lizard men in charge of the world is. Now I don't know how they relate to the Illuminati, but the lizard men to be in charge, I think that's the weirdest one.
That one is pretty freaking weird.
Because like, how do they know this person's going to be a world leader when they, the Clintons were lizard people? Okay, but we have records of their life growing up and everything up to the point that they became world leader.
Well, you see, it's an international cabal of whatever, and the person is raised up, and then they see the trajectory of a person's career, and then that person is replaced by the lizard guy. So Bill Clinton was raised as a normal human being. He started getting political clout and whatever, and they could tell that he was going to be important, so they replaced him. They body snatched him.
Katie, what's your weirdest conspiracy that you've heard?
Weirdest conspiracy. The idea that somebody's sexual preference can control the weather, and that they destroy a place in which they live just to spite people. That one's pretty weird.
Can't say I've ever heard that before.
No?
No.
Yeah, a lot of people believe it's because...
Yeah, they generally attribute that to God's vengeance or wrath.
Okay.
So if you're believing in an omniscient, omnipotent entity who cares about who you put your thing in, that entity has way too much, micromanagement. But,
well...
they're attributing it to a quote-unquote
that's more of like
moral entity.
It's like a cult thing.
Yeah.
Rather than a conspiracy thing.
Yeah.
Well, the Area 51 thing is pretty big.
Oh, the aliens in Area 51?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking we need to go there and do a...
You want to do the Naruto run?
I don't know what that means, but I want to do a live from Area 51 episode.
Oh my goodness,
no.
this is such a bad idea.
We'll sell $7 bottled water and overpriced hot dogs?
No, I am not going anywhere near that.
No?
No.
Also, it would cost a lot of money for us to get there in the first place. And we wouldn't even make like the money for the flight there or the flight back.
You got your passport?
Off of the no, I don't. No.
Well, hurry! We have 2 months. That cat is, I don't know what it's doing, but it found something fun to play with.
It's a cat toy.
Yeah, it's a cat toy. So crazy conspiracies, but the moon landing was real.
Yeah, obviously. You can fire a laser at the moon, and the retroreflector will fire it back at you.
Yes. Okay. How about I pause this while you take care of the cat?
Hello, I'm Daniel Peter Hitch, author of the Connected Worlds Chronicles and the Bubbles the Pirate children's book series. You're listening to the Rusted Robot Podcast. Think about it.
What did you do with the cat, Josh? What did you do with the cat?
I sealed it away beyond the boundaries of space and time.
Nice.
I put it in the children's room so that they can keep the cat entertained.
Oh, that's a good idea. Right on. What were we talking about? Conspiracies? Moons?
Moon.
That's no moon.
Moon.
Why is the moon?
What is that from?
Fallout.
That's a video game.
Yes. That's the crazy guy that first introduces you to the Death Claws.
The Death Claws?
Yeah.
A monster. Well, they're not really a monster. They're like a mutant, right?
Yeah. That's basically a monster.
Well, yeah.
Well, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles weren't monsters. They were just man-like turtles.
Yeah, true.
They had big, creepy people teeth.
And unless you consider the fact that they are 6 foot tall
Turtle people?
Yeah, that would probably be scary in real life.
Mammalian and reptilian features.
They've got beaks and teeth.
Yeah, that would be kind of scary, wouldn't it?
It would be really scary.
It would be.
Who move through the sewers and attack people with their weapons.
Okay, that is scary. They're monsters. You're right. Oh man,
it's all a point of view.
It is. It's all.
If you're just a random person, you see a 6 foot tall turtle wielding a sword with human teeth and features moving towards you,
wearing a trench coat and a top hat.
Yeah,
fedora, whatever.
Well, would you consider that a monster?
Yeah, I'd run with the other way.
Yeah,
I wouldn't stick around.
Yeah,
true enough.
It's all a matter of perspective.
It is a matter
because the monster never sees themselves as a monster. Everything they do is perfectly reasonable.
Of course.
I don't know. The term monster is used almost too loosely. Because it means like both like a weird beastie that you're not used to seeing. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a mammalian turtle creature that is 6 feet tall and attacks people with weapons. But like also like vampires are monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And like they can be good or evil.
What about werewolves?
Werewolves are also monsters.
Indeed, they are.
But then also we refer to like humans as being monsters, but that's just like our monstrous nature that we mean. So it's just thrown about too loosely now.
Well, monsters are people too.
Well, but like, yeah, but then also like people are monsters too. So like, I don't know.
You don't know where you're going with this thought, do you?
I just like it better when they're like universal monsters type monsters. And it doesn't mean like their nature. It just means, you know, they're just not like a regular thing we're used to seeing.
Right.
Like 1 in a million type dealing.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what now would be a good time for?
What's that?
How about a promo for another podcast here on the ESO Network?
Shoot.
Ooh.
Howdy! This year, the Earth Station 1 podcast will experience its favorite Geek Out moment with episode number 500.
That's over 9 years of nerdy pop culture reviews, interviews, and con reports.
Join the celebration with Mike and Mike each week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite media player.
We can also be found all over social media or at esonetwork.com. Peace.
And we're done.
What do you guys think about that one?
Okay.
Not bad, right?
Delightful. It sounds like a good podcast.
I love it. It's one of my favorites. Hey, so anyways, we actually should be at San Diego Comic-Con this weekend because all the geeks are there. Well, not all of them because we're not. But all kinds of news coming out of San Diego Comic-Con this weekend. It's a big deal.
It looks like fun.
Did you hear that good old Eddie Furlong from Terminator 2 is going to be in Terminator Dark Fate, reprising his role as John Connor?
That's pretty cool.
I don't know what he looks like now.
30 years older, approximately.
Yeah, I know. I know that he's older. I don't know what he looks like now.
I don't think he's acted since the 90s.
I don't think so either.
I haven't heard hide nor hair of him. He is going to be John Connor. So that's exciting. That's pretty cool.
Is he a drunk middle-aged man now? Because
Judgment Day, Connor is?
Judgment Day didn't happen when it was supposed to, and now all of his, well, you're going to be the leader one day, it's all fallen apart, and now he's working a dead-end job, drinking himself to death. You know, I once had a robot uncle figure who would do anything I told him to.
Yeah, if that's how they're going to portray John Connor, that is a dark fate indeed, sir.
Now pass me my Jack Daniels.
Because you told me to. Yeah, actually, I watched Terminator 2 the other day on Netflix.
Did you?
Just because I could.
That's pretty cool.
Because it's a good movie. I like it. And let's see what else I got here for news for you guys, because I've got all the news.
Do you guys know that there's a new movie coming out, which is going to be released the same day as Star Wars?
No.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Do you guys know what it is?
Well, obviously not. That's why I'm asking.
How about you, B?
No, I do not.
No? Cats.
Oh,
jeez.
I did see the advertisements
It
for
looks
this.
really weird.
I haven't seen the trailer, but is that based on the play?
Yep, it's pretty much exactly the play. It has all the same ballet moves.
Okay.
It has all of the same music. The story's exactly the same. It's just that now, instead of just costumes, they all have CGI, which is a bit weird. Because, I think the thing that bothers me the most is that they didn't paint on their weird little cat-like faces, so it's like their nose and mouth area that bothers me the most. They just have people faces.
So you've watched the trailer?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Well, I really like the theatrical thing.
I've never watched the theater musical thing.
And I liked that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I will like the movie. It's just certain things about the CG really weird me out.
Yeah.
Because, they had the opportunity to make them look like cats, but instead, they look like people.
I kept seeing the advertisement for it on Facebook and people sharing it and stuff, and I'm like, I don't care at all, so I'm not.
Well, I was a big fan of the
musical.
The musical when I was younger, and I still am now. But there's many, many, many big name actors in here.
Oh, who do you got?
Okay, so there's Idris Elba.
Okay.
As McCaverty.
Mm-hmm.
Rebel Wilson.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, I like her too. Judi Dench.
Okay.
Ian McKellen.
Oh, good.
Yeah. James Corden.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I quite like him. Taylor Swift.
Really?
Yep.
Well, she does look like a cat, so that makes sense.
You think she looks like a cat?
Yeah, she's got cat-like tendencies.
I guess. Ray Winstone. Jennifer Hudson. Laurent Borgios.
Okay.
Laurie Davidson.
Whoever that is.
Meta Towley.
All right. Well, I've heard of the first 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in here.
Nice. So that's a movie coming out the same day as Star Wars in December of this year.
Yeah, same day as Star Wars. It's a bit weird, right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to do a double feature, I guess, aren't you?
Yeah, probably. I don't know if I'll do it the same night.
No. Okay. You know what else is coming out at San Diego Comic-Con? They released the 30-second teaser trailer. Trailer, not Taylor Swift. It's teaser trailer for the Walking Dead movie, which features Andrew Lincoln as Rick Grimes, and we all thought it was just going to be a TV movie on AMC, but no, it's coming soon to theaters. They're going to release it in the theater, and I'm not going to play the trailer because it's just
noise.
It's just the theme tune and a helicopter, and it's 30 seconds, and it just says coming soon to theaters.
Yeah.
So really.
And you don't really get to see anything. It's the same, just the Walking Dead
logo.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah, but that's pretty neat. And another thing that came out...
I'm not really surprised it's going to go right to theaters.
You're not really surprised?
No.
Well, we all thought it was just going to be on AMC.
Not with how popular it is.
Is it still popular, though?
Yeah, it's still pretty popular.
Yeah.
They just finished the comic run.
Yes, they did. Kirkman there just ended it all of a sudden with no warning, because I guess he was done.
How do you know that they just ended the comic run?
Oh, didn't you know? I am one of 2 owners at a glorious place called Jump City. Jump City. Timmins, Ontario, Canada.
What is that?
It is a comic book and collectible store in the basement of the 101 Mall at 38 Pine Street North, Timmins, Ontario, Canada.
In Timmins?
Yes.
Where we live.
Indeedly-do.
Here in Northern Ontario. The land that culture forgot.
Yes.
Home of the Great White North.
Yes.
And
how did I not know this? I'm married to you.
You guys are married?
We are married.
Well, that sucks, because I was just going to ask you out on a date.
Who, Josh?
Well, no, you.
Oh.
But you're married to him. What the heck, guys? We've been doing this forever. I didn't know you guys were married. I didn't know you own a comic book shop. I bet you didn't even know I host another podcast called The Soul Forge.
Are you sure he's not a clone?
All about life, living, and the universe. Stupid things we've done for love. Yeah, it's on the ESO network as well. Along with this podcast and the promo for the other one we played. So that's pretty cool. We're learning lots about you guys.
What was the most recent episode about?
Oh, that one was quite hilarious, actually. It's episode 110. It's the 5th of 5 in the Stephanie cycle from when she was here in February. I'm completely drunk, and we're trying to have a coherent conversation, and I'm loopy. Did you listen to it?
I have not yet.
You would. I know you've not listened to any Soul Forges.
Yeah, I try to avoid therapy sessions with friends.
But this one here, it's just ridiculous.
Okay.
And if you want to hear what I sound like drunk, episode 110 of Soul Forge, soulforgepodcast.com, iTunes, Spotify.
I think they've heard that, though.
Yeah? Oh, yes, there has been several drunk episodes with my buddy Frank, which I do reference in that episode, actually.
And Ninja Turtles.
Yes, when we did episode 200, and we drunk watched the Ninja Turtles and commented on it. Yes, that was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 200. Go check it out, guys. Actually, that's from like pretty much a year ago, wasn't it? Because this is 252, and there's 52 weeks in a year, and holy crap, buddy.
We skipped a couple episodes because we had things that we couldn't do.
Well,
so,
that's true. It's about a year.
It's a little over a year, yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun last summer. Imagine that. Speaking of Ninja Turtles and stuff from before.
All right, well, there we go.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Full circle, indeed. And what else have I got for you guys? Did you know that it's the spin-off we never knew we needed but always wanted? That line is from the trailer for The Movies That Made Us, an upcoming spin-off series from Netflix. The current was raised on the new series during a Comic-Con panel for Season 3 of The Toys That Made Us, which premieres later this year. This article is on our Facebook page. It says, watch the first teaser trailer for movies, which promises the same deep dive, even bigger icons. But I can't play it because we're in Canada and we don't have access to it, and it's not even on YouTube. So anyway, The Movies That Made Us, which starts streaming in the fourth quarter, focuses on the iconic Die Hard, Home Alone, Dirty Dancing, and Ghostbusters. So I guess there's going to be 4 episodes. And features commentary from faces familiar and less so. In the trailer, we learn why "Nobody Puts Baby in a Corner" from Dirty Dancing is a ridiculous line, and watch as Reginald VelJohnson revisits Nakatomi Plaza 3 decades after his LA Beat cop Al Powell helped John McClane take down Hans Gruber. So grab some popcorn, pre-select your seat, and tell us what you think of The Movies That Made Us trailer. So if you guys can listen to it, any of our American listeners, let us know what you think of this trailer, because we'd like to know about it as well. TheRustedRobot@gmail.com.
So I understand The Toys That Made Us. I understand that deep dive on things like that.
Okay.
Because, well, to be perfectly honest, we don't know the backstory behind, He-Man. We don't know the backstory behind Barbie the way we do movies.
Right.
But movies, we know the backstory because we had, the movie, the commentary track, the behind-the-scenes footage.
The Entertainment Weekly article write-up.
Yeah. This stuff has been discussed widely because, well, the people involved are famous. Like, the toy makers aren't really famous in the same way.
Right.
For, being toy makers. It's only when, this guy who does other things is making a toy line. Do we hear about the toys, right? Todd McFarlane, for example, is a great example. So, I understand that side. I don't think The Movies That Made Us will be as entertaining as The Toys That Made Us.
Probably not, but I would watch the Die Hard one for sure. I like Die Hard. It's a Christmas
I thought
movie.
they were all going to be in the movie together.
No, I think it's 4 episodes.
It's a series like The Toys That Made Us, but it's The Movies That Made Us.
It's 4 episodes per season.
I gotcha.
Yeah. And speaking of The Toys That Made Us, wasn't there an episode on He-Man?
There was.
Well, I got an article for you here that you might be interested in. You like He-Man toys?
I do.
Okay. Well, Mattel is bringing back the original vintage He-Man figures, but now packed with articulation. So, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe sits in the upper echelons of popular and fondly remembered 80s toy lines. Decades after debuting way back in 1982, there have been several attempts to revive those original figures, but starting in 2020, IO9 can exclusively reveal that Mattel will release a new Masters of the Universe Origins line, starting with He-Man and Skeletor. This marks the first time Mattel is revisiting the vintage styling of its original MOTU toys. The new figures still stand about 5.5 inches tall and feature the same incredibly buff builds and bulging muscles as the 80s figures did, but with some updates made possible by 37 years of advancements in toy manufacturing. So get this. The new Origins line features 16 points of articulation instead of the original 6, allowing He-Man to finally raise his sword high into the air when calling upon the power of Castle Grayskull.
So I'm guessing wrists, elbows, shoulders, knees, ankles, hips, waist, neck,
Their head turns.
Well, the revamped vintage line also features more details this time around, with improved paint jobs and even new face sculpts that reflect the equally popular Masters of the Universe animated series. But before you fly off into a rage about another toy company dabbling with nostalgia but messing with perfection, Mattel's created an excellent stop-motion video showing off what Prince Adam and He-Man are now capable of with their newfound flexibility and posability. So this is also on the Facebook page. It's just like a minute and a half kind of little fun video with yelling and screaming and no dialogue, so I'm not going to play it here. But yeah, they can move a lot and they're very articulate, so it's pretty cool. And it comes out at the end of 2020 in time for the movie.
Yeah, they look beautiful.
Yeah, you saw it?
Mm-hmm.
You saw the video?
No. I've seen them in my catalog.
Oh, in your previous catalog that you have at your comic book shop?
Yep.
Are they up for pre-order? Or it's just showing you what you can get?
I think they were showing them off in that we could probably get them. Because we actually had them, I think, last month in the catalog before they were going into production.
Okay.
Because they just kind of like to test the waters and see how many people want to order them.
Oh, yes, that makes sense.
Before they put them into production. Because sometimes they're like, well, not enough people ordered this, so we just scrapped the project. But I guess they're going ahead.
Because I had pre-ordered Captain Sisko in command chair.
I'll be the one holding the pipe.
And they didn't ever produce it because not enough people.
Yeah.
It was very sad. But, what?
Favorite He-Man character and a favorite He-Man toy?
Well, I never watched He-Man as a kid.
You never watched... Oh, weird.
I watched Thundercats. And I never...
Yeah, you could watch both. Were you limited in your TV time?
I must have been, because I never came across He-Man. I saw it a few times at other people's houses. I don't know if we had the proper cable channels or...
I didn't have cable and I could watch it.
I don't know. Because I never got to watch Voltron either. And...
I also never got to watch Voltron.
But I watched the heck out of G.I. Joe and Thundercats.
Yeah, I watched those also. I watched a lot of TV, though.
But you didn't have the toys?
No, we didn't have... I think we had one or two He-Man toys. There was a lizard guy who you pressed the button on the back and his neck shot up.
Is that He-Man or is that She-Ra?
I'm not sure, but we had that.
Because there is a snake guy in She-Ra, and I'm not sure if that's him or if that's from the set that came and kicked Skeletor out of Snake
There's also
Mountain.
like some toys that you never really saw in the show.
Didn't have a lot of Thundercat toys either. I remember I had a Mumra playset where you put him in his coffin and you spin the dial.
Oh man, that's cool.
And he comes out the other side.
So my favorite toy was Skeletor's Panther.
The purple one?
Yeah. With the very soft flocking.
Yes.
Flocking's the term, right?
Yeah, flocking is
That's
the term.
right. Sweet.
Good job.
The purple flocking on there, it was very soft. That was my favorite toy because I thought he was cooler than Battlecat, but you never see him in the cartoon.
Right.
And
you do, but it's only there for like just a bit and then it's gone. You never see it again.
my favorite character from the cartoon is the Sorceress.
That's my favorite character too in the cartoon. Sorceress was hands down my favorite. But my favorite toy from He-Man that I had, that you could also purchase, was Man-at-Arms' weird robot horse that I cannot remember. I think it had a name.
Must have. Wait, the horse one or the little horse scooter thing?
It was a robot. It was a horse.
Okay.
He could sit inside it.
Yeah,
and there were like turrets and stuff and laser weapons.
Because there was two different things that he rode. Because there was the robot horse and there was the robot horse scooter thing.
Yeah, no,
I missed
not the
out on a lot
scooter
of
thing.
cool
There
toys.
was like the cool robot horse thing where if they remade it in the 90s, it would have walked, I'm sure. But no, I loved that toy. And then we also had for a very short time a weird Orko hand puppet. But I don't think it was like a mass marketed thing. I think somebody just made it. It was really cool, but I think we destroyed it in the washing machine by accident.
Daryl had my best friend Daryl when I was growing up had the van thing with the flip, the tracks that flip.
Oh yeah, those things were so dumb. Those were.
So instead of a round wheel, it had like a loop, right? Flat on two sides.
That was like a long track, and they would roll forward along it, and then the track would lift up and then drop down in front of the wheel, and it would run along it again. It was very odd.
It's like a track, but it laid its own track in front of it.
Nice. That's high tech for the 80s.
Yeah, it was terrible, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
We had a lot of rubber wrestlers. Remember from the 80s?
I had some of those.
Non-posable rubber wrestlers.
I had Andre the Giant and the Ultimate Warrior, and my brother had the Samoan guy.
I had Macho Man, Curtis had Tito Santana, and Robin had all kinds of other ones. And then we had lots of Ninja Turtle toys. We had Insectoids. You remember those?
I do. Is that the ones where they rode the giant bugs?
Yeah, they were battery operated. The wings flapped.
An experiment fails. And the Sector's warriors are born. Each warrior comes with his own telebonded insectoid that you control, like Bitor. Winged flies into the heat of battle. Rappler, with his grappling hook, carries his warrior up the cliff for a surprise attack. But Toxid launches a counterattack.
Warriors and insectoid soulless pairs, each pair sold separately.
Sectors by Coleco.
My friend had the spider glove.
Oh, yes. I think I had that too.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Also, the flocked riding panther that Skeletor had, I figured out why we could not remember the name of it. Panther.
Aha.
Yeah, that's why we couldn't figure
Panther the Panther.
Panther the Panther.
Well, these new figures will come with comic books like they did back in the 80s as well.
Oh, sweet.
So that's pretty neat.
Those comics were a lot better than the cartoon.
Yes.
It's very different. Also, did you know that all of the original comics have been compiled together in a large compendium that you can get?
I did not know that.
Well, now you know.
Well, that's good, because knowing is half the battle.
Yeah, we have it at work.
G.I. Joe taught me that.
Knowing is growing.
Sharing is caring. What do you got?
Nothing.
Oh. Did you know that Attack of the Killer Tomatoes reboot starts shooting? It's already started? Yeah, this article came out a day ago, so it's already started shooting. It was shooting yesterday.
Funny movie.
Actually, it was a funny series of movies. It says here that not only is there Attack of the Killer Tomatoes reboot in the works, but it's already started shooting. The guy is the director, Dustin Ferguson. He said, "Today I direct the first attack scene for the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes reboot. This has been a long time coming, and I couldn't be more honored." And just for some history, a number of sequels and other spin-offs have been produced over the years, including Return of the Killer Tomatoes, Killer Tomatoes Strike Back, and Killer Tomatoes Eat France. Return of the Killer Tomatoes is notable for featuring George Clooney in one of his first film roles. On top of those sequels, the first film spawned a 90s animated series, a 1986 8-bit video game, a 1991 Nintendo video game, and a comic book adaptation. So that's all cool. And the original film centered on a group of scientists who band together to save the world from mutated killer tomatoes. And the original film came out October 20th, 1978. So the reboot has started filming, and that's exciting because I remember watching those as a kid. They were ridiculous fun.
Speaking about reboots.
Reboots, yeah.
Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Right, that trailer came out from Comic-Con as well, and you have a list of who's going to be in it, don't you?
I do, and it's got an amazing cast.
There was quite a list of people.
So,
what do you got?
Oh, give me a second to open my phone.
All right, I can give you 2 seconds. 2 of your Earth seconds.
Give me 6 rels then.
All right.
6 rels.
Okay, so get this cast.
All right.
Chris Hemsworth, Shannon Elizabeth, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Melissa Benoist, Val Kilmer, Kevin Smith obviously, Joe Manganiello, Rosario Dawson, Grant Gustin, Justin Long, Joey Lauren Adams, Jason Lee, Katie Minucci, Jason Biggs, Harley Quinn Smith, Jason Mewes, James Vanderbeek, Diedrich Bader, Tom Cavanaugh, Frankie Shaw. Like, that is I'm like halfway down the list. Tommy Chong. It's a huge list of some pretty famous people.
Well, you know what? If Michael Cera isn't in it, I don't want to watch it.
That is your cutoff?
That's my cutoff. There is not enough Michael Cera out in the world.
I don't understand. Why would you want him in the film?
Because he's Scott Pilgrim.
Uh-huh.
He's Nick from Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist.
Uh-huh.
He's the youth in revolt.
Is he just your guy right now?
I've always liked him. He's just a geeky Canadian. And
I like him too, but like...
He doesn't need to be in every movie.
He's not in any movies lately. It's very sad.
Maybe he wants to take a break. Take his millions of dollars and go on vacation.
That's true. So what's the plot synopsis of the reboot?
So, did you watch Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back?
I'm not sure if I did.
Okay. So the plot of that movie is they made a comic. They're making a movie based on a comic that based on these two guys.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to stop that because people were getting mad at them because it was going to suck. And then, so they went to Hollywood and just stopped the movie.
Okay.
They're making a reboot of the movie that sucked, that was based on these guys. And so they're going to go stop the reboot.
Okay.
So it's a reboot without being a reboot about reboots, which is satire of reboot culture.
Yes, because all there are reboots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the overview plot. But it is a Kevin Smith film. So it's going to be crass.
Yes.
It's going to be funny. There's going to be a lot of sex and drug jokes.
Yes.
Not that much violence. Kevin Smith is not a violent director. I think his most violent movie is
Dogma.
Is Dogma. Tusk is a horror film. It's not as violent.
The whole thing is violence, isn't it?
Depends on how you interpret it. It's psychological, but it's...
Yeah, but he also, like, cuts up the person and turns him into a freaking walrus.
True, but that's less violent and more psychological torture. I agree that it's not good, but it is not, like, grotesque, brutal violence as opposed... Like, it's psychological.
Definitely grotesque.
Oh, yes.
Indeed. So that... does it say when it's coming out, or...?
It probably does, but I do not remember. I watched the...
Trailer?
The trailer the other day.
Okay.
We cannot play the trailer.
No, definitely not.
There would be a lot of beeping.
Yeah, so I'd rather not.
If you enjoyed Kevin Smith's more drug movies than his serious or weird movies, you'll like this. Particularly, it's a sequel to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Right.
It's a direct sequel.
Okay, well, that's cool. It's got all the people in it.
It's got all the people. It's surprising the number of people he got in there.
Yeah.
A few of them make sense, like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, because they've been in his previous films.
Yep. And Joey Lauren Adams was chasing Amy.
Yeah. So he's got a lot of people in there.
He does. He's got a lot of influence in Hollywood.
A lot of casual friends.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way that's where I like it. Because Kevin Smith is a fairly likable guy.
Yeah.
And you work with him once, and you're like, I liked working with this guy. Yeah, I'll come do a bit part in your movie. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. I didn't particularly like Jay and Bob Strike Back.
Okay.
But I like the rest of his movies.
All right.
So I'm gonna give him a chance on this one again.
All right. Sounds good. Did you hear that 2006's Superman Returns Brandon Routh is going to replay Superman again in the crossover Arrowverse Crisis on Infinite Earth?
I don't know how I feel about that, because he's already playing the role of the Atom.
He's already playing the Atom on Legends of Tomorrow, and they've already got a Superman in the thing, but he's going to be Superman from a different
universe. Yeah, but
yeah.
Generally, when you have a different universe character, it looks like the other character.
Generally.
Yeah.
Yes. And they don't look the same at all.
No.
They don't. No.
Like, they've both got the general white guy look. That
buff white guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But facially, they got unique faces compared to each other.
They do. You would not confuse them for each other.
Yeah, you would not say they're brothers.
No, you wouldn't. But that was announced too this week, so I thought that was interesting. And like I like to do, because The Rusted Robot is the unofficial Star Trek podcast, because I said it is, I'm not going to read all the article stuff that I found this week, but I'm going to go through the Star Trek headlines of the week.
Okay.
So, CBS and Viacom merger announcement is expected soon. Star Trek reunification cited as factor. So it looks like it's going to happen this time.
Okay.
Next article says, Paramount is considering a 4K Star Trek The Motion Picture Director's Edition.
All right. That doesn't sound like an adequate waste of use of money.
Doesn't seem like a good idea?
No.
Okay. How about, and this is comic book news for you, Katie, IDW to kick off a monthly Mirror Universe event with Star Trek Voyager Mirrors and Smoke.
Yep.
You know about that?
Yeah. Yep.
And what do you think?
I guess it's okay. I don't follow any of the Star Trek comics.
Ah, okay.
It's not my deal. Like, I know that it's coming out because I have to order comics, but...
Meh. Yeah. All right. Kurtzman confirms Jean-Luc Picard will return to space in Picard.
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird if they do a Star Trek without trekking through the stars.
Yeah. But I guess there's going to be a lot of Earth-based stuff, but
like,
he confirms that, no, they're going to be...
Even DS9 did the trekking through the stars thing.
Right.
Even though they're stuck in a space station, which doesn't go anywhere.
We live in a burned-out car that don't go nowhere. It's a song. But anyway, yeah. So that's why they introduced the Defiant in season 3, because we need to go and do some adventurous stuff.
Yeah, we need to trek through these stars.
Yes. Quentin Tarantino says, my Star Trek movie will be Pulp Fiction in space.
Okay.
Do we care?
It was hard to follow.
Was
I
it?
like Pulp Fiction, but it's I had to watch it more than once to catch everything.
And chronologically misaligned movies are not fun. But if he means like a Pulp Fiction style story,
yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Heather Caden says, Section 31 show and short trek Calypso could tie into Star Trek Discovery season 3.
I got a thing going back to the previous
Picard in space.
No, I can't remember his name. This is making me sound like an idiot.
Tarantino?
Tarantino. Thank you. Going back to the Tarantino thing for a second, I think he could do something really interesting with that.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'd like to see him do is make mud interesting.
Harry Mudd, yeah.
Because that would be the one person I could see doing mud and making mud interesting.
Right, that would be interesting.
Because like you need a kind of skeezy guy for Tarantino to do his thing.
True.
And
if it doesn't have Sam Jackson as a Klingon, I don't know if I want to watch it.
What about Michael Cera?
He's got to be in it too. He could be Captain Kirk's younger brother.
Oh my god.
Or something. I don't know.
Nephew,
whatever. Yeah. So, anyway, the Quentin Tarantino film is causing a lot of divisive debate in the Star Trek fandom.
Look, you already have Discovery. The series already has mud on it. Let it be.
Okay. Well, speaking of Star Trek Discovery, Season 2 has been nominated for 4 Emmys and 5 Saturn Awards. And LeVar Burton expects Star Trek The Next Generation cast to appear on the Picard series eventually.
Sure.
That'd be cool.
1 or 2 at a time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that is all of the Star Trek headlines from this week from trekmovie.com. Very exciting. And as we're recording right now, Saturday morning, the panel at San Diego Comic-Con is going to be releasing all kinds of new information, which we'll have for you guys next week. So that is the end of this week's Rusted Robot Podcast, episode 252, From the Earth to the Moon. All right, so thanks again for being hosts of the Rusted Robot Podcast with me and for hosting me in your home at your kitchen table so we could record the thing.
Not a problem. Thank you for editing it.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
And thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you, listeners.
Yes, so check out Jump City Comic Books, check out the Soul Forge podcast, check out other podcasts on the ESO network. If you'd like to donate to the show, because all the hosting fees just came up and charged my credit card a whack of change, you can donate to patreon.com/DarthVaderLou or therustedrobot@gmail.com on PayPal. Tell all your friends about us, leave a 5-star review in the iTunes store or whatever the heck they call it now, and remember,
it's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
You have been listening to the Rusted Robot Podcast. To contact the show, email therustedrobot@gmail.com or tweet us at therustedrobot. Join the Facebook page and group and visit the website at therustedrobot.podbean.com. The Rusted Robot Podcast was put together by Sean and Josh and the Rusty crew. Please remember to check out our other show, the Soul Forge Podcast, visit Jump City Comics in the 101 Mall, and leave a glowing review in your chosen podcast app. Thank you, and have a geeky day.
The Rusted Robot Podcast. Think about it.
So, mere hours after we recorded this episode, the trailer for Star Trek Picard was dropped at San Diego Comic-Con. And let me tell you, it's amazing. You've probably already seen it by now, but I'm going to play it momentarily. I just want to say, it's so emotional. It actually brought tears to my eyes while I was watching the thing. I guess I love Star Trek. I love Patrick Stewart. It's amazing. We're going to have Jonathan Del Arco in the series. He played Hugh Bork. We've got Jerry Ryan as 7 of 9 coming back. We've got Frakes and Sirtis as Riker and Troy. Brent Spiner's android is going to be there. He's been de-aged. You got to watch this trailer. It's just incredible. There's some lady that everybody's speculating might be Lal, or maybe a long-lost daughter of Picard that we didn't know about. Who knows? But I'm going to play the trailer for you now, and we'll probably talk about it more next week.
Have you ever been a stranger to yourself?
Many, many times. Nearly 2 decades ago, Commander Data sacrificed his life for me. is in serious danger.
Sometimes I worry that you have forgotten who you are. We do not.
You can't do it alone. You need help. You need protection. You need a crew. Be the captain they remember. She has no idea what she truly is. She's the end of all. She's the destroyer.
What the hell are you doing out here, Picard? Saving the galaxy?
Engage. I don't want the game to end. I can see that, Captain.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.